Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Darko, and here I am with my client, Mr. Tom Nguyen, and he's been a client for about 4 months now.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to get him on here because I wanted to share with you guys, a bit about what I do, because no one's really seen any of my clients talk about their own results and where they were before they started with me. So I wanted to bring Tom on here to just get you guys comfortable and help you understand, what it is that I do and how I help people. So welcome, Tom.
Thanks, Aaron.
So
Appreciate
Tom, so first of all, for the viewers watching, how old are you? What do you do, and where are you from?
Yeah, so I actually just turned 39. 39 years old, and I used to, before all this was I was in working for big four consulting firms, working 60 8-hour weeks, traveled exclusively for the past 15 16 years. Recently left that job due to health concerns, and basically went more freelance consulting. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Mm. So you're doing freelance with what kind of
Yeah, so
clients?
I focus more on the digital marketing
Okay,
side of things, working with more of the consultation at digital marketing, consulting basically.
right,
Help teams scale businesses, basically look at their processes, doing a business audit around their procedures, their fulfillment process. So really just kind of end to end, looking at the entire business model. I focus more on the digital marketing side because um, sales and marketing has always been an interest of mine, a strong interest of mine. I came from a world of IT. We did also sales at my level. And then I just kind of decided to go a different path where now I'm focused more on the sales and marketing, but more modern age marketing, which is, digital marketing. And then I started to get into that space.
right. So what was the journey that you went on to first of all find me, and then want to book a call with me?
Yeah, so this goes way back when I was trying to manage my time with my previous job. And I've always been kind of off and on with my workouts, my diet. Sometimes I'm on it, but the job made it very, very difficult. And one of the things that actually caught my eye was it was actually through YouTube and so forth, and I found Alpha Shredding. I actually started there and looking at the plan, the meal plan, the workout plan, and trying to adjust into the schedule that I had, right, to kind of make it more efficient with my schedule. So that's what the thing I like about your program is that the fact that you don't need to work out like 7 days a week or 5 days a week on this very strict, meal prep type of regimen, right? So it's kind of like one of those things where I'm like, okay, let me just try this out. And I started off with the Alpha Shredding program protocol type of thing. And then that's when we kind of started building the connections. But during that type of journey, I was actually suffering from like pretty much chronic injuries during that time. I think there was one year I was very active in sports. I was playing basketball, golf, tennis, you name it. I was just compacting it over the weekend. And every weekend I would get injured and hurt. So there was a year before I took the program was where I had like 13 injuries. And they're like serious injuries, like broken bones, like fractured ribs, concussions, dislocated shoulders. I had ankle problems because of basketball, fractures in my ankles, sprains, torn ligaments, multiple times to the point where my ankles were no longer self-healing, or that's what the doctor claimed when they did the MRI and so forth. So it was really hard for me to get back into a regular routine of working out because of the injuries. They would just take me out months, weeks and months going through therapy. So long story short, I got in touch with you because we talked about saying that, hey, I think you can help fix my problem with the whole injury stuff and putting me on the right diet, right plan to get me to build up my confidence and strength, because I was literally getting nicknames right at work. Like it became basically a normal thing. Week by week, clients would come to me to go to my desk just to see if I was okay or if I wasn't injured, because I would show up in crutches or a splint or a sling. So it was a running joke. I had a nickname like Mr. Glass or Bubble Boy, at work. And so it was like that for almost a year. It got to the point where it was affecting my work and I was missing days. And then clients and leadership would come to me and say, Tom, they understand that I'm living this active lifestyle, but the injuries are actually affecting the project with my absence. And so they asked me to kind of ease up on it. So it was one of those things where I was kind of going through all that. I was kind of losing confidence over that period of time, because every time I play, I was trying to be extra cautious, not get hurt, but I kept getting hurt. Even then, when I quit the sports, even getting injured with just normal activity, like if I miss a step on a set of stairs, I would sprain my ankle. It was so easy to sprain my ankle, and the next morning, I wouldn't be able to walk. Or if I do some light lifting or any type of active movement, there's always a high chance that something would go wrong with my joints or get hurt. I was just injury prone, to a point where it became my reputation ever since then. Even when I stopped playing sports for nearly the year after, it just continued. But yeah, so that's when I kind of started with you, Aaron. It's like, you know, it was one of those things where you felt really confident that you can get me out of that rut, to help rebuild my confidence when we got on the call, put me on a plan that was manageable with my busy schedule. And so that was about 4 months ago. And then I think our last update, I think we were talking about how for 2.5 months, I've been injury free. And, you know, it didn't really hit me until recently, right? Because I was just going through the routine. And I know the previous month or so, we've changed the diet a little bit more. And that's when my kind of like my joint pains and everything else was pretty much non-existent. I'm able to lift heavier. I got my confidence back. I'm able to go on a regular schedule with the workouts and stay consistent. And that allowed me to be consistent with my diet as well too, because I'm not like injury prone where, you know, people have to bring me food. You know, so it's kind of like one of those things where I actually have more control over all of that now, in a short period of 3 to 4 months. So that's kind of like the main story of it. But yeah, it's been like, you know, it's funny because you start to get, you know, people to notice as well too, like in terms of this, not just the confidence back, but they're surprised that I'm not getting hurt. Like I had some friends who came to visit, and we were walking all day long, going up a bunch of stairs or lifting heavy things. And they just said, wow, they're so surprised. I'm like, about what? And they're like, you're still walking. Normally yeah, that something would happen. Your ankles are a little bit sore, or, you know, something that doesn't feel right. And they're always worried about me. They're very cautious about me lifting anything or going, you know, staying on my feet all the time. And that's when it occurred to me that, oh, interesting. I haven't had the worry of being injured or having ankle problems or elbow problems or any previous injuries coming back. So I don't know what changed, right? All I know is that, okay, I stuck with this workout of, you know, of 3 days a week. You know, the intensity of it helps build the strength. I'll still get results from it. I lost some body fat, started to gain a lot of, you know, muscle, like strength. And the fact that I changed my diet a lot, I got re-educated on the diet, and it's a lot more sustainable. That's the thing I liked about your program, Aaron, is that the fact is, it allows flexibility, and it's more about building habits. You learn, like, I think your first 30, 60 days, you learn to build the habit as part of your lifestyle, where it's now more of a natural thing. It's not like, oh, you're kind of forced into this very strict, you know, diet or strict workout, which I really appreciate, because there are days where like, oh, I can't work out today, but I'll work out tomorrow. Like I don't kick myself for it. I still got it in, right? So you still hit your fitness goals on that. So all in all, I think that really worked out well for me in terms of my lifestyle and what I was looking for. But I can't be any happier about not getting injured and hurt for like 2.5 months straight. That never happens. Every month up to this year, for this year, I've been injured or on crutches or on a sling, due to like really simple things, you know? So yeah, that's enough for me for rambling, but hopefully that kind of helped with the question.
Yeah, it's great, man. Just keep talking, man. So I was going to ask you a specific question. So how was you feeling like when you were being called the Glassman, like going back before you enrolled? Like what did that feel like every day when you're going into work and you're in the sling or you're in the crutches and people are calling you Glassman? And
Yeah, like Mr. Glass, it's like they joke, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's just like, man, you know, like it's like you feel, I don't know, I want to say like vulnerable, but it's more like that it makes you very like, oh, I shouldn't hurt myself, otherwise I'll get made fun of. Like I have to be very careful. Like, dang, if they see me with like, you know, some medicine tape on my wrist, they'll be like, what's wrong? Oh, it's pretty typical, right? It's expected. You know,
Right.
and so it puts this pressure on not trying to get hurt because you're just gonna get made fun of. Though it doesn't hurt too much, but it's kind of like one of the things where they just make a joke, right?
Yeah.
That they
So
would say, "Stop being a hero, Tom." You know, like you're not young anymore. Stop playing. Stop being a hero. You don't need to play so hard, right? It's not worth getting hurt. You know, those type of things.
and then you started believing that, right?
Yeah, it made me realize not to play hard, or maybe like, okay, well, they're right. I shouldn't. You know, I should
And
be
what do you
more
think?
cautious.
What do you think now to what they said before?
It's different because now I feel so much. It's so funny. So like my confidence is so different now. Like it literally happened today. There was a girl that was with me, and I said, "I bet I can lift you up with one arm." Like, just like I did, and she didn't believe me, right? And so we went in the parking lot, and I just proved it. Like I just did one arm, lifted her up, and she's 120 pounds, right? So and it was so funny, right? It was just like it gives you that different level of like confidence, you know. Like I'm not gonna hurt my arm. Oh, this is the arm that I got injured, same arm, right? Or the same shoulder that got dislocated. It's the same side, you know. So
Wow.
it just gives you a very different level of confidence. It's really funny. Because
Yeah, I bet she. God.
before that, my friends wouldn't even let me lift up my set of tires because I used to swap tires for like winter and the season, right? Summer, winter. They wouldn't even let me lift up the tire, right? Not with a two hand because they were afraid I would hurt myself. So yeah, it's just you know, it gives you that totally different level of confidence.
Yeah, and I can attest to that because I'm seeing you, you know, show up every week, and you're just way more confident than you used to be when you
Yeah.
started.
Remember when I first started the program and I got frustrated because literally after I got the program, I hurt my ankle and I was on crutches
Yes.
for 2 weeks right
Yeah.
after I got the program.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything for 2 weeks to heal from it. And then when I got back into the program 2 weeks later, I got hurt again. You know, it was this
Yeah.
constant, like, I'm always getting hurt. Like I can't
Yeah.
get it right. Yeah.
So would you say that was the biggest thing for you, right? Like the injuries, because that was affecting your whole life basically, because your confidence was spreading into other areas, affecting different areas of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was really worried about it because I think my last injury was end of August. So that was about a few months ago.
Yeah.
That's why I was been injury free for like 2.5 months. So yeah, that was, I mean, the fact is my parents were telling me to carry my crutches, like pack my crutches in my car. Cause anything at any moment I can, you know, screw up my ankle. And I thought it was silly, but then they were right because I was getting kind of hurt or I feel like a little bit soreness or inflammation in my ankle. So I used to have the crutches just sitting in the back seat of my car just in case something would happen.
Wow.
Yeah. As insurance.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how bad it was.
Well, I never knew that. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I know. It's so sad. I put those crutches. I mean, the money I invested in those crutches, I put it to use for sure. I got my return on investment on that. So,
So what do you say about the nutrition side of things, like how you were eating before, and
very
you know,
different. It's so different. Oh man.
because let's talk about like your heritage. I mean, you're Vietnamese, so
Yep.
Vietnamese. Yeah, just talk about that.
You know, in the Vietnamese, you know, rice is the primary staple, you know, part of the meal, right? High in sodium, everything's in high in sodium, everything else. Well balanced diet type of thing, veggies, fruit, protein, and all that. But honestly, like it caused me to hate rice. So I think we had a reverse problem where I didn't have like a carb issue problem. I was actually avoiding it completely. But what I was doing wrong as part of my diet before, I thought eating lean, you'll get leaner, right? I was eating
Right.
too clean, you know, barely any fats. It was straight up lean chicken, breast, chicken tenderloin, whatever, veggies, very little carbs, right? And I used to do that for a while. But I think that might have played a role in why I was getting joint weakness, right? Because when you're kind of talking about like, I need to eat more fattier or had more fats, more fattier beefs, right? Eat more beef type of thing. And then the collagen beef broth, like I started doing that on a regular basis. And that's when I start to see an improvement in terms of my joint pains. where it's almost it's pretty much non-existent. I can actually lift heavier and actually have the confidence that I can go heavier um, with the workouts. Before I didn't, because I felt like I got heavier, then I would feel the pain, and the next it gets inflamed, and then now I have to reduce my workout
Right.
to keep going. But now I'm able to like add more weight and not feel any pain in my joints. So the whole diet thing, I think it was an adjustment because I think I had a reverse problem where I wasn't eating enough calories and I was eating too clean. And, I had to learn to like adjust my diet and build up my metabolism. So it was quite a journey, right? In the very beginning, it was like trying to figure it out.
Right.
And then figure out, okay, this is how much I should be eating. So it gave me that, that habit of really understanding how much to be eating and then of what types. And then we went back and say, okay, here's the goal. We got into the routine. Now I was no longer hard tracking everything. I just have a general idea. And then that's when we start to focus more on, okay, let's fix the whole joint thing. I increased my meat intake, my broth intake, that was pretty much like for a full month. And that's when I start to see improvements in terms of my my overall joint pain and strength. It's kind of like the latest thing. It's kind of like, it's funny because I'm not as strict on my diet, in terms of meal prepping or anything like that. It's just, I'm eating out, right? I know I'm more educated as a result of those habits early in the program. So now I'm more educated on terms of how much to eat and what I can get away with, right, for the day. So it really makes it a lot more sustainable for sure.
Yeah, that's huge because, most people struggle with eating out. They don't know what to do. They're just, baffled by the menu. Just like they look at the menu, they just don't know what to order because they have no knowledge.
Yeah, that's sort of thing too. I learned. I started putting in practice a lot more. Is that it never occurred to me to ask for more of the protein in my meal. Like, oh, can I get extra salmon or can I get extra lean beef or whatever it is in my pho. It's like that kind of like the noodle soup staple dish in Vietnamese, right? So I used to eat it all the time.
Yeah.
I always order extra meat. And then think about that of ordering extra tendons, meats, or whatever it is on any of these dishes. So now, ever since then, I just order extra, whatever the protein is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you can, for example, Thanksgiving, you can still have the cheesecake here and there. You can still have
treats. I had that. We had the pumpkin pie. I had that one single slice, but it's like I don't crave a whole bunch of it. It's just like a little bit here and there. But
yeah,
I load up my plate with just a bunch of beef. It's so funny. It was just all beef, And there was probably like maybe potatoes in there, mashed potatoes, but that was it. It was just beef, potatoes, maybe some veggies, But it was primarily just like brisket and ribs and beef. It's just all beef. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's stuff I like to eat too.
Yeah, exactly. And what do people say about that when they look at how you eat now?
Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot of meat. I live in Texas, right? So when we go to Texas barbecue, I mean, literally, me and my buddy would share like 4 pounds of beef, massive amount of like, oh man, it's like a carnage. But yeah, it was just all meat. There's nothing green. It's so funny, and it's funny too because when people look at me and I work out, it's like that's my diet. I haven't gained a ton of weight, right? It's not like I'm gaining weight. I feel like I was eating a lot, but it was kind of like the whole satiating, right, type of diet where I felt full long. And so I think that helped, but it's like, I didn't feel like I was getting fatter, right, or anyway by eating that much.
Right.
But I do feel stronger. That's the difference for me.
Right. Yeah. So what would you say to someone who's thinking about, getting on a phone call because they're not sure, what's going to happen? Because you got on a phone call with me. So what would you say to someone else who's thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, everyone's personal experience would be different. But for me, I was tired of trying to figure it out, what worked and what didn't work with other programs or smaller programs or aggressive programs. I've done it. I probably hear from a typical story from everyone else. I got to the point where like, Aaron, obviously I follow your content and everything else. And I was like, I trust you when you say that we'll get you fixed. I think that's the key thing, right? And the fact that you offer like the weekly kind of like mentorship or coaching sessions to kind of check in, the accountability, early on. So I think that when it comes down to your health, I realized at that point in my life at the time is that it's time to pay to fix the problem, right? it's like, for me, it was like I was paying for other things too, because I realized when you do things on your own for so long, there's a reason why you get the same results over and over again, right? Trying to figure out. So it's time to just say, you know what, make the investment, let someone put it in someone else's hands, that you trust, that is going to get you the results that you desired, and then you just have to put the work in. So I think that's where it comes down to for me, is that anyone who's, is tired of not getting it, because I've been doing this for, I don't know, been trying to work out almost, I say, over almost 15, 16 years, right? And it's been all over the place.
Yeah.
For once, I feel good about it. It's sustainable. It keeps me consistent. It doesn't feel daunting of a task, or feel like, oh, I have to go to the gym, or, I feel like I can't keep up with it. It is a sustainable lifestyle that I can keep up with for my health. So to me, I saw the value in terms of, investing that, because you only got one life to live in your health. And I knew that I was falling apart. So I was at that point where I need to fix it. And so I just kind of trust the process, and I just followed it. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. And would you say it was worth the $5,000 that you invested?
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about it, even if 4 or 5 months, $1,000 a month, that's worth it. You talk about like $200 or whatever, $250 per week. If you think about it, of fixing your health, right? But it comes down to the individual. They got to put the work into it, right?
Yeah.
But to get your time, to get that guidance on a weekly basis, to make those directional changes, that's how I was able to achieve where I'm at today in that 3-4 months time frame. It was a rough start, and the fact that it's very custom, because you were very patient about like, I didn't get to start right away because of the fact that all these injuries, and we were trying to figure it out, and we finally got to that point, and now we're getting to the point where, hey, now I can go with my next set of fitness goals, right? It's now, let's get leaner. How do we get, a little bit more definition, those type of things. It's no longer about, hey, I'm hurt all the time, or I have these joint pains. That's like in the past now. So now I'm able to progress, right? So again, for at least me, it was worth it, right? It fixed the problem that I had, and it's just gonna get better, in my opinion. So
is there anything else you want to add? Like how much time you saved, or anything else you want to add?
Oh man, the flexibility, I love it. So the thing I always been telling people, is so funny when I go out to eat, is like the different mindset and what you should be eating and why you should be eating it, and that you don't need to be on a strict meal plan. You just have to understand the habits and what it does to your body, what you're consuming, and the numbers and how that affect. But once you understand it, it becomes sustainable, because now you have more education, more knowledge when you go eat out or you cook. And I think that the key thing for me is that the fact that all of this is sustainable. People are surprised that I only work out 3 days of the week and able to still get results, right? It always get to the point where sometimes I might fit in an extra workout just for the sake of doing it, right? Because I have the time, or, I just like doing it. But the fact that the minimal thing you need to do is 3 days of the week and still get the results in the shape that you want, and seeing the improvements, is the biggest thing for me. And especially when you have a busy schedule, having that flexibility is always important. That freedom to kind of choose, like, man, today was a really busy day. I can't get to my workout, but I could get to it tomorrow morning. No problem. So I think that was the most important thing for me, is that I didn't kick myself saying, oh man, I missed a day of workout. Now I'm behind. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's kind of like or I had to cram it all in the next day. Right.
Yeah. Right.
With the other workout. Right. So it puts you in a good habit. It's something that, it's doable. Right. And once you get to the rhythm of doing 3 workouts, you actually find myself, at least I did, that I want to work out more. Like I might work out again the same day, or maybe the next day, just because, like you don't want to squeeze out a little bit more performance out of it, or a little bit more out of my fitness. Right. So it actually helps encourage, like, oh, at least I hit my 3, I'm good. But anything more is like extra bonus if I just add on to it,
Yeah. What about your energy levels? How have they been affected?
Oh, it's been, so for me, because when you also educate on sleep too, when I added more sleep, sticking with the workout, you just feel, I don't know, it just feels better, right? You feel stronger. You feel like I get up early in the morning now. Before, I used to never do workouts in the morning. And then now when I wake up like 6:30 in the morning, naturally, I was like, okay, I feel like going to the gym now. Like I used to never do that. You feel like tired and groggy, right? But like now it's 6:30, 7 o'clock early in the morning. I'm like, I feel like going to the gym. You know, I don't feel tired. You know, you have the energy to do it. So you're more aware about, that's our thing too, is when you're eating, you realize what you just based on feel. You always talk about how your body feels. So if it makes me feel sluggish or tired, or you feel like a good amount of energy after before a workout, then I know how to adjust my diet. Because there are times where if I don't feel like I'm low energy because maybe that was something I ate, I typically don't go into the workout because I can't make good use of it. So I'll adjust my diet until I think, oh, I feel really good, and then you jump into the workout with some energy. So yeah, I mean, my energy has definitely improved. I'm not like sluggish all the time.
How's that affected your work?
You feel like you get a lot done in a day. You know, you feel a lot more productive. You know, and the fact that you can get it in, you don't need to work in 2 hours on hand. You know, if I could fit in an intense workout in 30, 40, 45 minutes, it's perfect. When it comes to, you just feel you get things done. Right after that, go back to work and you get things more done, right? It just, again, I think it has a combination of like having the energy, having that routine, the consistency. You just feel like every day is a step forward to that progress, whether it's the fitness goals or work goals, whatever. It just feels like it's part of that progress. So I think that, yeah, it always feels weird. Like when I miss it, I feel like super disappointed. Like I missed that goal, right? So it becomes part of your lifestyle.
What about when you're traveling? How do you manage it when you're, going to different places
Oh,
country?
I learned that there's no excuses. So it gets to that point where if I could pay $20 or $15 for a day pass, I'll do it, to just get it in. If it falls on one of those work days, or if I know if I'm traveling, say Monday through Wednesday, then the last half of the week, I will hit it back to back, right? As long as I feel like I hit 3 days of the workout, as long as I get it within the week. So that's how I kind of adjust based on my schedule. But if I'm gone for lengths of time, I got those day passes or weekly passes because I told myself there's no excuse. You just make it in the schedule.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And
That's
then,
awesome.
yeah. And when you add it into the whole diet thing too, it's like now I'm educated. I don't feel freaked out about, oh man, I'm traveling and you get out of this routine of meal prepping, right? I'm already used to it. Like when I eat out, I'm already educated and aware the quantities and what to eat when I go to any restaurant and what to look for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's major. It's major. That's like one of the biggest problems people have, right?
Yeah. Because when I used to meal prep strictly every day, like 5-7 days on, eating the same thing or eating certain things. And then when I went to go on vacation travel, it's like, well, I'm not meal prepping. So then you become super self-conscious about what you eat, you're being really restrictive, or you do the opposite. You go all out and because, well, I'm on vacation, right?
Right.
But what I love about it is that, because I've been eating out or I'm used to it. So when I do travel, it doesn't feel any different at all. I'm already used to what to look for, what to eat.
Yeah.
I think that goes back to the whole having that sustainable lifestyle that really doesn't feel like a lot has changed or there's no like extremes, right? It's just part of your lifestyle.
Yeah, 100%. So now you got the lifestyle. Now you're living that healthy lifestyle. It's part of who you are.
Yeah.
You feel like you've shifted your identity now. Now you're like that healthy guy.
Yeah. I'm like version 2.0. That's how I look at it, right? Like 2.0 is a better version of myself. And now it's like I want to hit different set of fitness goals now, right? Now it's like, okay, what do I need to do to get to the next level?
Yeah.
And then I want to be more consistent. I'm actually adding a lot more weight, adding more, whatever it is, I'm just adjusting plans so I can do more. Because it just kind of compound with the fact that, with the level of confidence that you get and knowing that, hey, I'm not feeling bad about eating whatever I'm eating when I go out, so.
Yeah, no guilt.
Yeah, exactly. No guilt.
Yeah. It's huge, man. So, well, thanks for sharing your story, Tom. I'm sure it's going to inspire a lot of people, man. And
no, it's good. You can't, like you said, health and fitness. I came from a background, my other background with I was diagnosed with, but you only got one body, right? And I feel like, if you're like me, if anyone's watching this, like, if you like, you try so many different things. I mean, for once, take it seriously and just commit to a process and trust somebody that you follow. And if they're committed to getting you fixed, I mean, Aaron here has committed to making sure I don't get hurt, and fix or get stronger again, right? And all the resources and everything you've taught, I truly appreciate your time, Aaron. So it has really literally changed the way I look at working out, my diet, and how I feel a lot differently. So I truly appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate that, man. All right. Thanks, Tom, for coming on. Yeah, anyone watching, reach out. If you want to get similar results to Tom, go to callwithaaron.net or you go to healthmastery.net. You can check out all the stuff we have there. You can book your call and get on the call just like Tom did, and then we can start your journey from there. All right. So, Tom, thank you for coming on, and we'll talk to you next time.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks.